And we are back with Lisa Waterslane in the studio. She comes each week with your garden questions. Just what are folks talking about? And they actually are, the gardeners are, they're looking for reasons to think gardening. And so they have been in the garden center, seed sales, houseplants, a tree we just sold. We were unloading fruit trees a couple days ago, and people were buying them right off the dock. So were you planning on coming in for fruit juice? Nope. But we were thinking about it. So we'll take that one and that one. So it's kind of, they're looking to
first choice.
You do get first dibs, but they weren't even planning on taking fruit juice. That's what's here. It's fresh off from the farm and everything. So welcome to the studio, Lisa.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Yes, it is.
So speaking of customers being anxious, so I just had a customer. She's like, I just had to come in.
Okay.
I said, well,
Right.
what can I help you with? I just had to come in. So, it's all good.
I think it's been, there's been pent up demand because it got cold like end of October, November. It was winter in November. Yeah. And so normally it's, middle of December. So there's an extra 4-6 weeks. Customers, gardeners have been like sipping tea way too long, and they want to be outdoors. You can only hike in the forest. You got to get your hands in the dirt.
Yep.
And, you can't even hike on the sidewalks right now. They've been, cinders and snow and ice. We just want to be done with winter.
We do.
And we want to be back in the gardens. What kind of questions we got?
Speaking of cold and ice and snow everywhere, so Bonnie has a question. She has a yard that faces north, so no sun this time of year. So snow has fallen. It's kind of laying on a lot of her evergreens, junipers, shrubs, that kind of thing. Of course, it's not melting. Is that okay? Or should it be knocked off, brushed off, scraped off?
Yeah. So when snow is floating on top of, let's see, your grasses or evergreens, they're on top of the plants. They've got some evaporative things happen, so it stays colder. Well, that's good at first. When that storm first clears off, that snow actually insulates the plant underneath it and keeps that really brutal cold from permeating down into it. But after a day, it's too long. The plant wants to see the sunlight. So if you could just get any kind of foliage coming through, plants have a way of warming themselves up. They're dark colored. And so they will naturally absorb that sunlight if you simply just lightly brush, get any of the foliage off. Snow is bad for plants. Don't leave it on there.
Okay.
Does that help?
Short answer.
Short answer. But the reason being, they want to see the sunlight. So they'll quickly turn yellow. They'll start to defoliate just because they ran out of sunlight because of snow. If it's something like we've had a couple really heavy snows, if that snow comes in and loads up on a deodar cedar, Arizona cypress, juniper, even spruce, the branches start to bend and weep. Well, same thing when the cold isn't what gets them. The snow doesn't bother them. It's that cold front. It gets super cold right after the storm clears out. It like drops an extra 10 degrees. Well, if that plant has branches that are weeping, they're settled down, they're weighted down by all that snow, then it gets super cold like that. The sap inside that branch freezes, and sometimes it can solidify. It stays like that permanently. Right. And so you kind of want to take that weight off of those, not all the snow, but the weight off of those branches, just so they spring back. So when it gets real cold, they don't get forced into this weird morphed Dr. Doolittle's Dr. Seuss look. Right. So it's probably good to get them off there. For the short things like ground covers, just take a broom and slightly sweep it off. Any kind of branch, any kind of foliage showing through, they'll pop right out, and the plants will do all the magic work for you. Okay. Did we answer all that? Good question,
Bonnie. I think we get the short and the long answer.
Yeah, sorry. We got to fill 10 minutes.
So our next question is from Chandra in Prescott Valley. She wants to know, is it time to be putting out pre-emergent?
Okay.
Or should you wait until we're warm?
Yeah, that's a sign of a gardener. So pre-emergent, let's just explain what that is. So pre-emergents they're usually a granular, there's a liquid form called surfland, but basically it's a granular form. You put it in your hand spreader, you spread it over the rock lawn or places where weeds grow, and it keeps the seed from germinating. So it's a seed killer. And so obviously she's had problems before. So she's keeping the horehound, the tumbleweeds, goat head, the one that puts on that spike that pops, your dogs walk on it and they start limping around. Those are all annuals. They only come back by seed. If you can put a weed preventer down, you'll get it. It'll eliminate 99% of all those issues. Now, is it too late, too early? I think your timing's just right. You're almost a little too late. Generally, I say put it down the first of the year, but we've had quite a bit of snow and some weather. So the foxtail has not quite started showing yet. Foxtail's our first insidious weed, and it looks like green, soft
it looks
grass.
so soft. You're like, oh,
it's beautiful.
Pretty.
And then it turns into this gnarly, thistle that goes through your dog's paws, through your sock, through your ankle, out the other side. It's nasty. So you want to get rid of that. And weed preventer, we call it weed and grass stopper. If you can throw that on top of the snow, on top of where you've got your weeds showing up, it will obliterate that. It just gets rid of them. They won't come out in that area.
Right.
It only affects weed seed. It doesn't affect the weeds. So if you put it around roses, over flower beds, around your trees, it won't affect the plants that are already there. Only affects the seed that are going to germinate here shortly. I mean, the next warm day, there's enough moisture. As soon as we get above 55, 60 and stays there for any length of time, it's just going to take off.
Right. So word of warning, don't use it like in a vegetable garden if you're putting seeds out. If you're going to put out wildflower seed, don't do that.
But if you've got a lawn and you don't want dandelions to get in, you put it on top of the lawn, it won't affect the lawn. It only keeps the dandelions from coming back. So there's a way to use, and that's one come in. So for Chandra, or what in Prescott Valley, Chandra, did I get it right?
You did. I'm
thank
impressed.
you. It's a pretty name. Just want to make sure I didn't screw it up. Your timing is perfect. Go for it. I would say while you're at it, go ahead. If you got it going now through March, you fertilize everything. Do it all at once. Doesn't matter which one goes on first. Just get them done.
Okay. All right. Next question is from Cameron. Make sure we have time. He's new to Prescott. He lives up by the Thumb Butte area. So for mountains, native pines, that kind of stuff. A neighbor told him to put systemic on his pines.
Yeah.
So he just wants to know, what does he mean by systemic? And how do you use it and when do you use it?
Yeah. So those folks with evergreens. So we have some tip borers and some ips beetle and some bark beetles. There's some bug beetles basically that get into the bark and eat. Their diet is evergreens. And so if you're in a place, so at the base of Thumb Butte, there's lots of ponderosas, pinyon pines are out there. You do need to care for those. You'll get scale on your pinyon pines. You'll get bark beetle on your ponderosas. If they're of value to you, and you've got some that are, if you lost them, it would be a true detriment to the value and quality of life of your property, living on your property. Take care of those. And so we fertilize them once a year. So Cameron, take out all-purpose plant food. We make one for evergreens, put it around there, and that'll just once a year for your native evergreens. It'll keep them healthy. The drench, we generally would put on, it's just a touch early. I'd wait another 2, 3, 4 weeks, and by sometime after Valentine's. So wait till then. Put on a liquid drench. You mix up in a watering can or a 5-gallon bucket. Anyone can do it. You pour it at the base of your tree, and it goes up the cambium layer, up underneath the bark, and permeates the entire tree. So if there's bark beetles underneath the bark, kills them. If there's scale eating the tips of the tree, it kills them. So it's a good kind of like an antibiotic for evergreens. But yeah, you'll need to do that. Come see us for more. But you've got a window. Do it in a month. Okay. And again, you're good to go. Great questions this week. So now we're out of time. Thank you, Lisa. Ken and Lisa Lane, the Mountain Gardeners. Be right back after this.